Howdy folks, how you going? I'm about to knock up some cider for two reasons. One, because my son's coming home for Christmas and he and his missus both like a bit of cider, so I'm going to throw one together for them. They did sort of ask. It's getting late, but I think I've got time to get it done. And two, it's cherry season here in the hilltops. Cherry festival's happening over this weekend. It's been pegged back a lot this year with COVID. There's been no big street parade and things, but there's still a bit of stuff going on. But as the cherries are around and we've had some pretty crappy weather, I managed to score about 2.5 kilos, thereabouts. There were seconds that weren't much chop. No cherries that were beautiful and juicy, but just weren't going to keep. There was no way they could sell them. So I cooked them up. This was about 2 weeks ago. Cooked them up and frozen, and decided I'm going to use them in this year's cherry cider. Not a beer. The last two years I've done the for 3 of the last 4 years I've done the sort of chopped cherry stout, cherry ripe type thing. I've done a cherry Weizen before. So this year I thought I'm going to do a cherry and apple cider. A chapel cider. So in honour of that great chapel moment in Australia's history, I'm going to call this Send It Down Underarm. If you don't understand that, search, do some Google searching, or ask your parents about it, because they'll remember. If you're too young to remember, ask your parents, I certainly will. Anyway, before I do that, big shout out to Little John's Patrons. As always guys, thanks for your support and your help. Link down the bottom if you're interested and see what Patreon's all about. Other than that, hit the subscribe button down there if not subscribed, and hit the like button, give me a big thumbs up. That's all good as well. So anyway, I don't want to fuck around with this one too much. Start off with my cherries. Now these have been frozen and they've been out here a little bit thawing out. And for this fella, because I want to knock this out really quick and easy, given it's now we're into December, I haven't got a lot of time, so I'm just going to stick these straight in the ferment. Now, I weighed that up, that's about 900 grams of cherries and juice. And there's about, I think it was about 200, roughly 200 grams of caster sugar in with a whole lot. So there'd be about 70 or 80 grams of caster sugar in there. And I'm just going to top that up with 9 litres of good old Golden Circle apple juice. Plain apple juice, nothing else, nothing elaborate, nothing crazy. No, normally I do my cider, I normally throw in some pear juice. I thought about it, but no, I want to leave this one, and I'll tell you in a minute why I'm not actually going to put any pear juice in. But just add this in. So I'm hoping this is going to get me somewhere around 10 litres in the all-rounder, which should get me 7 or 8 litres bottled up. Now 3/4 to a carton, which will be just nice, I reckon. That'll be plenty for our summer break. Alright, there she be. Fucking hard, wasn't it? This is, cider ain't bloody difficult. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure this one's got some nice sweetness left in it. I know the cherries will get quite tart, and the cider will go quite dry if left to be. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just throw some lactose in and let it finish, let the lactose sweeten it. And then it dawned on me, I'm pretty sure that the daughter-in-law is somewhat lactose intolerant. Not, I don't think massively, but I think she sort of avoids lactose. She tends to drink soy and stuff. So anyway, going to go some stevia to try and leave some gravity in here. Plenty of people will use this at bottling, but I'm not going to because this is going to go straight from this fermenter into bottles. And I'll explain in just a second why. But anyway, now this jar tells me that the stevia is 10 times lighter than sugar. So to get the equivalent of 200 grams of stevia, of sugar, I need 20 grams of this stuff. So let's do that. And that's going to be a fair whack. Righto. That'd be 20 grams of stevia. In she goes. Yeah, spoon's about something just bloody dirty. That's not happening. Anyway, going to ferment this fella with Apple cider. We get one pack in straight, nice and dry. Nice and dry. Yeah, what the fuck not? Righto. And just to help this along, I'm going to throw in some nutrient, just to make sure there's some nice stuff for the yeast to chew on. A good whack of that. I'm not measuring anything too much here, but this is just really quick and throw together. Alright. And that's about her. I'll give this cider yeast 10 minutes to come up to room temp because I've got to get it out of the fridge, and I'll pitch it. And this is just going to sit on the garage floor. Garage is, judging by what the weather's going to do for next week, should sit in the bloody high teens, maybe pushing 20 at most. It's like 20, it's going to be like 22, 23 max during the week. So I'm pretty happy to run that sort of temperature. I don't think that's going to hurt at all. So I'm going to ferment this sucker, and then I'm going to, once it's finished, I want to stop the fermentation short. So I'm hoping to stop it somewhere around 1008. Yeah, I sort of need to get a gravity reading on that, don't I? It's alright, I'll let it go. I'll get some gas on it. I'll take a reading and I'll stick it in the comments down below what the actual gravity is. But it's not going to really matter. So I don't know what the cherries themselves are going to add. I would imagine they're probably going to add 5 or 6 points total at most. So I'm going to have to sort of ballpark a total number, which I'm not too worried about. Like I said, it's more about just seeing how the cherry and the apple go together. It smells nice. So I'm going to pull it off at about 1008, and I'm going to pasteurize the bottle. So I'll ferment this under pressure. So 1008 or around there. I'll go into the bottles. So I want to keep it nice and sweet, and I will pasteurize the bottles in the brew kettle. I'm going to get this on. I'll come back when I've got them bottles done, and we'll have a look at that pasteurising process. See you then. Right, folks. We're on day 4 of this the cider. The ferment is done. It's certainly, well, whether it's finished, I'm not exactly sure. It could well be, looking at it. But we're sitting on about 1006, 008. There's a little bit of gas in there, but not a lot. So I'm thinking it's close to that 1006, which is going to get us somewhere in the region of 5.5 or 6% ABV, depending on exactly what that the cherries are actually giving us in the way of sugars. So it's definitely time to get this bottled up. Now, I wanted to go straight from the all-rounder into the bottles using carbonation from pressure in the keg, or in the fermenter, but this thing that was sitting on 12.5 psi lovely yesterday morning has now dropped to nothing, and there doesn't seem to be. This is the sample I've just taken off to get a gravity reading. Got a lovely pink colour to it. There's a little bit of gas in there, but not a lot. Flavour's quite good. A little bit of tart, a little bit of dry, a little bit of sweet. Yeah, I'm thinking that's pretty much. I think I would have liked it just a little bit sweeter, but that's fine as it is. It's not one way. It's not one way or the other. It's very. It does seem to be very in the middle. So I'm really happy with that. I was hoping to stop around 10, 12, which also would have got us close to that sort of 5% mark. You know, make it a little bit, bit safer. But anyway, we did it. So, given I haven't got gas in here, I need to get gas in the bottle because I'm going to pasteurize them. So I can't bottle carb them, because right now I don't know whether that's as low as this is going to go. And realistically, with where it is, if I stick bloody carbonation in that now and put them in the bottles and carb them up, we're looking at well over 6%, get into 6.5, and that's just too high. I'm going to put this into the keg. I'm going to force carb the keg. Basically just going to do a bit of a rock and roll and force carb it, and then I'll put it into the bottles. So I'm just getting the keg ready. This is a brand new keg, which I'm actually getting ready to transfer the flying of the oil flowing onto, but luckily I hadn't done. I've checked this first. So I'm just purging this keg of oxygen. So just pumping CO2 in. And bleed off any oxygen that's in there. Now, a little bit of pressure. I'm happy with that there. That's enough. Because if there's any oxygen in there now, it's going to bleed off as I fill the keg. So this bottle over here out of the way. Gas on there. And get gas into fermenter. Liquid to liquid. Now, we've got more pressure in here at the moment than I've got in here, so this will not transfer as it is. Now I'm just going to check where my, okay, she's going to cycle from this side. I'm going to tip this over so we can get access to that. Okay, look, this has only been sitting firm on the floor at ambient, so it's not cold crashed or anything, so I haven't dropped anything out, so we're just going to transfer all that stuff over. It's going to go in the bottle, so we need that. Basically, we're going to access organic for the fuck of it. Right, so now, right, just pulling the PRV. That bleeds off any oxygen and allows what will now be higher pressure in the all-rounder to pump over. So I will get a spunding valve just to make it life easier for myself. Just stick that on there. Open that. And now we'll just wind the pressure up a little bit. She's coming down slow, so as I said, yeah. Tip over here. Oh, yeah, it's starting to bloody. It's having. She's sucking. But you'll find, I find with the all-rounder, by tipping it over, bringing all your volume to the same side as your float tube, it helps to get as much volume out of there as you can. Right, that's just dropping down there nicely. Alright, you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it there, but yeah, there's gas blowing through there through the spunding valve as volume in here is pushing that CO2 that we had in here out. So that's bleeding off any oxygen, so it's making sure this is nice and oxygen free. So when I finish this and I force carb it, I'm not going to push oxygen into the cider and cause any problems with oxidation. Okay, so I'm going to finish this. I'll get this in the bottles because I've still got to clean them. So I'll get this into here, get them in the bottles. Then I'll get them on. I'm going to get them on the pasteurised. So we'll have a look at that shortly. So this is what they call the roll and rock method. Some people call it the shaking method, but basically it's just a force. Yeah, this is the quickest way to force carb your keg. I've got the gas on. Now you can push the gas through the beer line, but when you're wholly rock and roll, it doesn't really matter. So I've got the gas on. I've got gas at about 15 psi. So I don't want to overly gas this. I don't want a real high carbonation on it. And basically all you're doing is just allowing that gas to get into the liquid and then basically forcing it in there. Where normally you're just putting it in from the top, and pressure and time allows it to slowly get absorbed into your beer or whatever your chosen liquid is. But that takes 7-10 days or 24, 36, 48 hours depending on what pressure you're using. Normally when you force carb, you're doing this at 30 or 40 psi to really force the liquid in there, and ideally you'd have it cold. And you go for about a minute and a half, and then you'd sort of check your carbonation, and that's generally about it. Generally gets you somewhere where you can serve it. This is going to take a little bit longer until it's not cold, but I've probably been going now for about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5, and I'm going to call it quits about there, and just run with whatever I've got. So this will now sit for probably about only half an hour while I finish getting these bottles ready. Obviously it's not a lot of bottles. I've got 15 bottles. And you can see it's all around. I got most out of here. I did have a little bit of fun. About halfway through, it sucked up a bit of cherry, a bit of the flesh into the dip tubes. I had to pull the lid and everything off, get the dip tube out, remove that cherry, get it back in. Then it took a little while to get it all flowing again, but we got there without any real bloody great trouble. But yeah, lesson for me for future. If I was doing this, I'd probably allow an extra couple of litres over what I want to get into a package. But there was 9 and a bit litres in there. This keg's fairly loaded up, so I'll get me 15 bottles without any problem. There is a little bit of flesh and stuff in here that did come through, but I don't think it's real lot, and I don't think it's going to hurt. It's going to add, like I said, add a little bit of that organic feel to the actual cider when you're getting a little bit of pulp floating around in it. So I'll get these bottles done. I'll come back when we're getting the bottling done and getting them into the pot and getting the pasteurisation happening. Rightio, so we're ready to bottle. I'm going to take off just a test glass to see what our carbonation level is like. Okay, don't know, really, that's just going to show up there, but this could be a bit heavy up. I'll show what I'll do to counteract that. So I fill the bottle, and what I'll do is just inject some CO2 into the cider before I put the lid on. Now, this is something. No, so there's good gas there in the bottle, so that's fine. I think that'll do. It's not going to be a real fizzy cider. But there's enough gas there to give a little bit of mouthfeel, and just to lift it. Yeah, it just gives it a little bit of life. I think that'll be fine. Okay, so I bottle these up. We're back. Righto, so bottles are done. And all I'm going to do now is just sit them in the brew kettle. I'm just going to try and put these in here so they're not sitting directly over the end. But basically I'm going to fill that up now till the bottles are sort of 2/3 covered. Righto, so they're all in. See, mostly done. Don't want to put any more water in that because I'll start floating around, and I'd rather them just staying upright. So I'm going to bring this up now to about 75 degrees, and I'll just hover in that sort of mid-70s, low 70s, mid-70s range. 72 is about your magic number, and I'm going to hold that there for an hour, so that'll kill off any yeast that's left in there, and make sure we don't ferment any further than what we've got, and basically locks in exactly what we've got in the bottle right there. So lid on, we'll come back in an hour and make sure nothing's blown up. Righto, pasteurising's done. It's been about 2.5 hours since I went in the pot. Actually up to about 80 degrees. Then I just shut it off, put the lid on, as you saw, and just let it sit. I put a blanket around the kettle just to keep the heat in, but I haven't put any extra heat on it for that 2.5 hours. And it's still sitting in the bloody high 60s, so it's well and truly had its time at those temps. Now 72 is pretty much pasteurisation temp. An hour at 72 will kill pretty much anything, but it wasn't what we're trying to do. We weren't worried about killing anything. There's nothing there we're trying to kill other than the yeast. Just wanted that yeast dead so it doesn't ferment any further in the bottle. So what it's got right now is what we bottled just before. Cider at 1006 gravity, and it should stay there. It's not going to drop, it's not going to continue to ferment, it's not going to dry out. It should be exactly what we tasted today out of the fermenter in 2 weeks' time. So I'll be back shortly, and we'll do a taster and see how they went. What I did do, I've put it away now, so there's 15 of these, 15 stubbies. I've done 1.25 mineral water bottle, which I haven't pasteurised. I've done it normal. I've dropped 1.5 carbonation drops in that, and I've bottled it and I've put the lid on it and stuck it away. So we'll see how it is in 2 weeks and how it compares, how it's gone with gravity, whether it has continued to ferment, so whether this process has worked or not. We'll see. But all good at the moment, no bottles exploded, so colour looks as it did earlier. It doesn't seem to have darkened up or anything strange. Yeah, so I'm happy with how that's turned out. So I'll see you about 2 weeks. Hopefully I can get a tasting on this before Christmas. If not, it'll be in the next year, but we'll see how we go. But for now, that's the Throw It Down Underarm Apple Cider. Apple cider with fresh cherries. So guys, you got any comments, any questions, otherwise stick them down the bottom, ask away. Big thumbs up to the all the patrons, the Little Johns. Once again guys, thank you very much for your support. Subscribers, thank you as well. If you aren't, hit the button, hit the thumbs up if you got here, if you like what's going on with Little John. Other than that, till I see you again, brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer, or things that are like beer, good brewing.